Welcome everyone to another episode, or I should rather say series of episodes, June special edition, Conversations That Matter, with the wonderful Nika Kozyra, Polish blood. So I am additionally very happy to have for you with me today the great guest straight from US, Nika. Welcome and very happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Magdalena. Such a pleasure to be here. I know we've been trying to make this work for a while, so we're finally here.
Yes, I think it will not be a bad thing if we will make our audience aware. It's a night talk. Literally, when we are just meeting, you will be seeing that in June. But it's a night talk. For Nika, it's a beginning of the night. For me, end of the night. So it's really wonderful. Maybe it should actually also have an extra label, Night Talk. Two Polish women, Night Talk.
The Adventures of the Polish Woman at Night.
Yes, yeah, that's the good one. Why the series? Actually, the idea comes from Nika, and I love the idea because when we have met and discuss how we can talk around various aspects, you came with the idea to make the series. Pain, self-awareness, self-worth, well-being, and feeling beautiful about ourselves. So these are the kind of key pillars we will meet and talk over June. Pain. That's the subject for today. Pain has various faces. What is the face you know the pain from?
So, I think pain is always such an interesting conversation because you either think of it, strictly as physical, right? Like I cut myself with a knife and now I'm bleeding and my hand is in pain, or someone broke your heart and you're in pain, right? Or loss or grief. So when I immigrated to the United States and a lot of medical issues, I didn't know what it was like to live a life without pain. Pain was normal for me. It was literally my baseline. I didn't know what it was like to be without pain. And it's not until I took the time and started to heal my body. And at the age of 35 is the first time I felt my body without pain. So I literally spent 25 years of my life in constant pain. And then for me, I have a lot of pain and trauma from my childhood. And that pain manifested for me personally in anger. So when I got rid of the physical pain in my body, then I was able to start to actually, work on the mental and emotional. And now, granted, I knew I didn't have the best childhood. And I know that things have happened to me but other kids, it happened to them as well, right? So it was normal that all of us were experiencing different things. But my pain manifested in anger. And when I started to work on the mental and the emotional part of myself, then that anger actually went away because I found peace. And then you would think, oh my God, great, kudos, slow clap, we're done. But then I was completely lost because now I'm living a life where I'm not in physical pain anymore. And I'm no longer in anger, which was the mental and emotional pain that I was in. And that kind of left me in a place of who am I? And like I was lost because pain has been my best friend, my baseline for 25 years of my existence. And I think we don't talk a lot about how a lot of people hold on to their pain and don't want to let go of their pain because it's become like their best friend. It's their travel partner through life.
Pain, life partner, kind of emotional because we get attached to the pain. And as you said, it will have different dimensions. But physical, I think the one that we cannot control will be quite difficult to accept. Although the pain that you have experienced, it was due to um, the surrounding you environment, or or it was related to the health and how the medical environment actually responded to your pain. What? Yes.
So, for me, I immigrated to the United States in the 90s, and no one knew what was wrong with me. I started just having a lot of autoimmune issues. I would literally go to sleep at night and my arm would lock up, and I could not move my arm. I literally needed to use something to like push my arm away or unlock myself. I'd be standing for 10, 15 minutes and it would feel like my bones are shattering. I mean, I wasn't sleeping more, 40, 45 minutes for years at a time. I would get random fevers. I would always be wrapped up in ace bandages around my knees, my ankles, my wrists, my elbows. And the worst part of it was that at 25 years old, it was the last time I was hospitalized, and no one believed me because I'm 5'10". I've always been a bigger human. I wasn't some skinny petite girl. I've always had body. I had a BBL before BBLs were popular, right? So you see this tall 5'10" woman who looks very strong. To this day, people think I power lift. And how could I be in pain? That right? We're visual. So no one believed me. And despite all the doctors that I went to and all the specialists, no one believed me that I was in pain. it What happened to me is the last time I was hospitalized, I was there for 4 days. And on the fourth day, the psychiatrist came and started to ask me all of these questions. And because one of my degrees is in psychology, I knew already that he thought it was a mental health issue. And I literally remember saying to him, like, I, I'm not making this up. Like, I'm in pain, right? Like I have a bad attitude, I'm in pain. And he just literally was like, no, no way. Nothing is adding up with you. And I trusted the doctor I was on. I was put on all of these different protocols with like Lyrica, antidepressants, muscle relaxers. And because I'm a bigger human, they way over medicate me. They put me on super high doses. I mean, to this day, you give me a baby Benadryl and I'm sleeping for 2 days. And I remember this girl that I knew, she was a nurse, and she asked me, why am I on antidepressants? And I said, I'm not on antidepressants. This is 15 years ago. Siri was not around to give you all the answers. You had to actually know what you were talking about. And when I found out that I got put on all these different medicines without even being notified, informed, I just was trusting the doctor. He's the one with all the degrees, right? On the wall. I got so angry because this is the last doctor I really was trying to trust. And he didn't believe me. He didn't believe me. And I was so fortunate. About 2 years later, not a full 2 years later after that, I moved to South Korea. And when I moved to South Korea, I went to a traditional Chinese medicine, and she did like cupping on me. And the traditional cupping, for a lot of people who don't know, is actually like a ceramic bowl, and you like put oil in it and you light it on fire, and that's how you cup. 15, 20 minutes later, she comes back and she goes, Chincha, and she drops the clipboard. So I'm like, okay, like, what's going on here? And the first thing she says to me, she goes, you're in so much pain. Your body is in so much pain. And to this day, that is one moment in my life that makes me so emotional because it's the first time someone saw me. It's the first time someone looked at me and said, you're hurting. And then we had this amazing conversation, her in half English, me in half Korean. And she told me so many different things through this new traditional Chinese medicine approach. I started doing my own due diligence, reading more into that, going back home to Poland, doing more traditional therapies. And at the age of 35, I completely became pain free. Now, I wish someone would have taught me all of this and showed me all of this 20 years prior, you know, but I'm so grateful that I'm living a life where I'm no longer in constant pain. I don't have bad days anymore. I have maybe bad moments. And those bad moments, I mean in a mental, physical,
Mm.
emotional, and spiritual way.
How many, you just really right now very nicely underlined how many dimensions in life we do have. And each of them is crucial to be on a good level, the emotional, spiritual, physical, and what was the fourth?
Mental.
Mental. It's really so incredible how these four pillars are aligned. And if only one doesn't work well, it's immediately hitting the three others. Um, when listening to you about the experience with the doctor and this medical environment, it sounds like we should all become doctors before we go for the visit to meet the doctor, because it's, I think, natural for all of us. We go and trust the doctors. We follow without questions. Yes, you go with this kind of symptom. Doctor is checking, doing some tests, coming to conclusion. Look, this is what we need to have. This kind of therapy we will do, and 1, 2, 3. But interesting is what you say that it took so many years and no one questioned themselves. What the heck? It's not normal for the young child, because it happened when you have been very young, is in constant pain, physical pain. So it's, I think naturally from the science, it will have a huge impact on your brain, on your mental. It's collapsing. It's collapsing, not existing. It has no space to develop, to understand. And by your own, you are discovering a completely different way, spiritual way. When you have been living in that pain, what kind of impact it had on your daily life?
So it's interesting when people ask me that because you don't know it's normal for you,
Mm.
right? So you don't know that your existence is any different than anyone else's. I can't unzip my suit and step into your body to experience how you live. So I did not know that I lived in that much pain because it was normal for me. It's the same thing I always explain to people: inflammation. We've all experienced inflammation. Some of us experience it all the time. I had inflammation, severe inflammation, my entire existence. To this day, I'm very prone to inflammation. So I have to be cognizant of I shouldn't eat that, especially living in the United States now, where everything is so poor as far as the quality of the food, the integrity of the food. When I'm back home in Poland, I could eat whatever I want, how much I want, and I'm fine. But I'll give you a prime example. I did not realize that I was inflamed. I had no clue. I just thought I was fat. I always just thought I was fat. I mean, my mom is 4'11", 88 pounds. I'm 5'10", I'm 200, right? So I'm not small. Now, you would see me and you would never believe that I weigh as much as I weigh, but I just thought I was fat. I just thought I was fat because my wrists like this, I didn't have a collar, but I just thought I was fat. My body deflamed within 14 days of taking. I went to a special herbalist when I was back in Poland, and he taught me about herbs, and he gave me a protocol of deflaming the body. On the 14th day, I got super sick, like I had a fever, but I didn't feel sick here. My body was sick, but I felt amazing. I was like alert. I felt my energy was great, but my body was hurting. And after the protocol was done in about 24 days, it was a total protocol. I had, for the first time in my life, I had knuckles. I had a collarbone. I never had that before. So I didn't even know for 25 years that I was inflamed. I just thought I was fat.
Wow.
So it's the same thing with pain. I, I didn't know that I was in pain because I didn't know there was life outside of being in pain every day. Like I tell my clients all the time, you only know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. So now that I know, okay, this is my body when it's inflamed,
Mm.
then I go, oh, okay, I'm inflaming now. I can see it. I can see it in my wrists. Like, for example, like I just told you, right? I was in the emergency room last night, right? That's a whole story. So I'm a little inflamed because of the all the blood that they took from me. And then, my body is just trying to find a homeostasis, right? So it's freaking
Mm.
out, it's inflaming. Because a lot of people don't know inflammation is your best friend. It's there to protect you. The problem is when it becomes out of control and you
Oh,
don't know how to control the inflammation. So inflammation, like I'm hurting a little bit today, but they took a lot of blood, they ran a lot of tests on me. So my body's inflaming me now to protect me, right? It's like driving a bumper car, right? You have all the padding around the car. That way, when you hit the wall, you're having that bumper, so that protection of impact. And that's exactly what inflammation is. Inflammation is not the enemy. The problem is constant inflammation, where your body is constantly being inflamed and now it's causing damage and now it's putting you in pain.
from what you are describing, I think I had a different theory or term. I call it like the water retention. Is this the same?
Yes and no. So, water retention is a little bit different because water retention has to do with your lymph nodes not properly draining. So, in traditional Chinese medicine and in Poland, we use the same concept. In Poland, we say ośmiornica, and in Chinese medicine, it's called like the octopus. So the head of the octopus is actually your digestive system. And in most traditional medicine, they care more about your digestive system than the brain because the brain is just another organ, right? So from the head, which is the digestive system, the tummy area, the midsection, your head, your arms, and your legs are the tentacles. What happens is you literally have all from this digestive system, you have these lines through the body, which are the lymph nodes, and they get blocked. And the way that you know the lymph nodes are easily blocked is you can literally feel them. You can feel them. Any hard part means there's blockage. You can go underneath the armpits. You can go here on the nose, up top, here,
But how do I feel
underneath.
it?
Because if you can't go like this and it be smooth, if there's any bumps, that means your lymph nodes are blocked. So a lot of people think they have hearing issues, but you'll go here and it's painful. Like it might hurt a little bit, or here. And that doesn't have to do with the hearing loss. It has to do with your lymph nodes aren't properly drained. People whose lymph nodes aren't drained properly get that means they are not pushing out the toxins in the body. That usually happens to people who eat a lot of dairy. Dairy is terrible for people like myself. Dairy is terrible, right? No milk, no cheeses. However, raw milk is great for me because it's not all of those, chemical breakdowns of it.
Chemicals, yes. Mm.
Right. But for example, someone who has lymph, like I'll give you the easiest example, deodorant. Almost everybody uses it. I don't use deodorant, I use crystals because someone like me who's already prone to inflammation, I can't put anything under my armpit that's not going to let me release the toxins. So they have, over the last decade or so, there's been a huge increase of men getting breast cancer. And they're like, wait a minute. They always try to tell you that it's this only women get it and it's usually, genetics, which is bullshit. There's no such thing as
Mm.
genetically getting a disease. That's a complete lie.
Oh,
But
really?
why are men now getting it? Well, how many men do you know that their armpits always have 10 pounds of deodorant? They go to sleep in it, they work out because they don't want to smell, right? Well, they're blocking their lymph nodes. And instead of their body sweating out, their body is bringing it in. And what is the closest thing to your armpits? Your chest.
So you mean the rolls are not good, huh?
No, deodorants are terrible for you. I mean, the main ingredient in deodorant is aluminum.
Okay,
Aluminum is
so
highly toxic.
okay, maybe this question will sound trivial versus all the real pain we are talking about, but then how you deal with the smell?
Well, there's two things. If you have very bad smell coming from your armpits, and I don't mean you just worked out in the gym for an hour or you were
Yes.
outside, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about if you're sitting here and you're smelling bad, it's
Mm-hmm.
because you have bad stuff in your tummy. We
Oh,
naturally don't have bad body odor. Our smell has to do strictly with what we eat. Number one.
wow.
Number two, the way I transition my clients, for example, to get rid of the toxic chemical deodorant, because it takes time, right? It's not going to be something you're going to wake up tomorrow, wash your armpits, and you're done. All of that aluminum, all those metals are still in there. So I do a apple cider vinegar, lime or lemon, and
Mm,
baking soda mix, and you just put it on, you use it, and then I have them just put baking soda underneath their armpits because
baking soda.
baking soda, it's the best. Baking soda is your best friend, like castor oil. You just
I
put it
mean,
under your armpits and you just let the baking soda absorb all of the because the baking soda will pull it out. Like the apple cider vinegar, like the lime and the lemon, right? Lime and lemon will open up the pores. So after a few, probably depending on how bad your armpits are, anywhere between 7 to 14 days, and granted, right, when we're on our cycles, for example, we
mm,
give different chemical compounds. But also, I'll give you a prime example. If you are a woman on your period and you have really bad smell, that is not normal. That is not normal. That is your
wow.
body telling you, I have too many chemicals and I don't know how to get rid of them.
But you mean
So,
the smell, you mean the smell like from the body or from the diet?
yeah, no, from the period. So, like, if you
Okay.
have your period,
Okay.
and you know how like some women have their period and you can smell them, they have clothes on, you smell them.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge sign. That's your body screaming at you, I
Wow.
have too many chemicals in my body. And the easiest way to know if you have too much microplastics, heavy metals in the body is a simple test. So if this is your belly button, you take your hand and you go like this. You find where the belly button is, and then you
Like
go
that?
down to the left. Yep. So this is my right hand. This
Ah,
is my
okay.
left hand,
So
right?
I'm just putting my right hand around my belly button.
No. So this is your belly button,
Ah,
right?
okay.
You find your belly button, you take your finger, put it right in the middle, and then you go down on with this finger. Then you
Okay.
press in.
Okay.
If that's hard, which most of it is hard and uncomfortable, you might have to move it around a little bit. That should be painful. It's
I
actually
don't
a
know.
really good place.
I feel my bone down there.
So then you're too far. So you need to be, everyone's shaped a little different, but this should be where your belly button is, and then you go down. So well, you have to do it. You can't do it sitting down. You have to do it laying
Ah,
down.
okay.
So when you're laying down, you're going to feel a hardness on this part of the body. It's on the left side. It's where your appendix is on the right, but
Mm-hmm.
on the other side almost.
Okay.
That place will be hard. You want to massage it to stimulate it to start releasing some of the microplasms and the heavy metals in the body.
Wow. You
Your
know,
body has everything it needs to heal itself in every way, shape, or form.
and
We don't know.
every connection, everything is I mean, I I really love to learn more. And everything what you say, it's something I hear for the first time. And I can only imagine how much you on your own um yeah went on the journey to discover, because the knowledge that you are sharing with us today, it's not just from nowhere. It's about the reading, it's about really diving in and
It's a
developing.
it's self-experimentation. I
And
mean, I have done a lot of experimentation on this body. I mean, more the things that I've done. People think acupuncture is scary. I mean, I've done Mongolian kniving on my body. I've done like a traditional Polish honey massage, which is the
mm,
most painful massage of my life. Like I've done acupuncture, acupressure, needling, electrolysis.
mm.
I've done everything, and I finally hacked the code and understand my own body now. My body and I, we're best friends now. I'm no longer best friends with pain. My body communicates to me. I
Mm.
understand what she's saying to me, and I figure it out what she needs.
It's not that everybody will create this kind of special attention. Many of us are still falling into the trust to the medical environment. We are not questioning the decisions. We are not doing our own research, even about the diagnosis that they are reading. They make some kind of joke. Oh, again, you asked Uncle Google? But this is the starting point of gaining the knowledge that, oh, okay, that's my corridor, and I'm finding different rooms. I'm going to the library, I'm finding special books, scholar articles that are speaking about certain subject, but not too many people will go that way. Many people will just follow the pathway that the authority will show them in a blind manner.
Well, so on to stay with that point, it's because as a society, we're lazy.
Hmm.
We're lazy. We eat too much, we sleep too much, right? We rest too much. We're lazy. You don't have to know how to cook. A delivery service will bring you your food.
Yeah,
You don't have
so
to go to
true.
the store to get a book because you could download it onto your phone. You don't have to go to buy a movie because you just watch it on Netflix, right? You
Hmm.
don't have to know how to drive because the cab service will come for you. I think doctors and medical professionals, and I am an emergency medical responder, right? So on top of being a federal police officer, I have the utmost respect for the medical community. I mean, I was in the hospital yesterday because on an on duty situation, had to check to make sure everything was okay with me. Utmost respect. I can't do an X-ray on my body. I can't do an EKG. I think that's amazing technology. But the problem is, in no school system, no education system, are you taught anything about your body?
No.
And in
I
my
mean,
opinion,
from the
it's by
biology,
design.
very basic, right?
Right. Right. It's by design. I'll give you a prime example. I was reading an article today about how basically a lot of doctors within the next 10 years are going to be out of a job because now there's so much AI technology. They could look at an X-ray and AI within 10 seconds
Oh,
indicates everything wrong with the X-ray. You don't need to be a doctor now of, 10 plus years of experience to be able to properly read that X-ray. And it takes you 3, 4 minutes. And maybe you need to go and ask another doctor, right, for a secondary opinion. AI does it
mm,
within 10 seconds. But the problem is, okay, so AI makes our life easier. Great. Technology is great. But all that does is it disconnects us even more from our bodies and it disconnects us from
yeah.
knowledge.
I was
And
just
that's
about
the
to
issue.
I was just about to say that actually it's declining the human touch because there is something in us that when we go to this doctor, we are driven with a hope that he will tell us, he will heal us, he will find the magic. Yes, that we can feel better. You say life was a pain for you was a normal thing. We also say there are various dimensions of the pain. There will be emotional, and people all will be related also with the environment like we are living. You have been experienced with the physical pain. There will be people who will be experiencing and living in emotional pain, and they will consider that it's a normal life. There will be spiritual pain that are related to the various cultural factors that we are living in, and the mental pain. Some will be hurt, some will be seen. Unfortunately, from the psychological aspect, and even going into direction of the psychiatry, why it is so easy for people to not see people pain.
Well, for me, you can't notice, you cannot connect, you can't see something that you're not connected to. So my biggest thing that I teach any of my clients is to reconnect first to yourself and then to be able to connect to someone else.
Mm,
Because if you can't figure out what pain looks like to you, then you can't figure out and see what pain looks like in someone else. And as a society, we're becoming more and more disconnected to this whole conversation's point within our own bodies. And
mm.
therefore, we are disconnecting more and more from each other, right? This is a beautiful thing. We're literally calling two different time zones, two different continents.
Yes,
But how much more richer would this conversation be face to face in the same room?
completely different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Because the one thing, and I'm extremely spiritual, is we are all energy. And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be exchanged. And the reason why
Mm.
I think we're getting more and more mental health issues, and the reason we're seeing more suicides, and the reason we're seeing so many more people have anxieties and depressions and fatigues and all this stuff is because we are starving energetically.
Connecting energy. I can see somehow from myself, I am right now not so much exposed in a physical connection with other people. And there are moments that I said, oh my God, I am like an alien. Because although I'm connecting through the glass screen with the people, I'm having wonderful conversations, meeting great people. But like last week, I realized I didn't go out from home for 3 days.
Hmm?
And interestingly, I didn't feel that I need to go out. It was just, I had very interesting schedule. I was busy. I was happy. I'm like, no, that's not okay. And
Because we
suddenly,
didn't grow up this way.
after 3 days, you will go out like a zombie, like, double sunglasses because sun is killing. it's,
Mhm.
and it's not okay for us. And I agree with you that we are shouting out, oh, we are having technology so well developed. But at the same time, considering the human being and human touch, we are somehow putting on the sides the living creatures, the us as a people. And
Mhm.
we are hiding more and more with the pleasure ourselves behind the scene, not to be visible.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
You
I mean, you
mentioned,
and I, we didn't grow up this way, you know? I mean, think about when you were a kid.
oh,
You didn't call to see your family. You just showed up and you knew dinner was going to be made. You,
that's true.
you know,
We
you
didn't
didn't
have
have to make
phones, right?
plans.
It was by the date.
No, you just
It's
showed up.
20th, 21st of May. It's Auntie Christina name's day, and at 5 p.m. we need to go. Like, okay, you didn't even ask. Did you receive
No,
the
you just show
invitation?
up.
Did you receive a WhatsApp message? No,
Did you
you just go.
RSVP? You just show up. You show
That's true.
up.
You just go. And it was sitting party because everybody are sitting at the table, 12 members of the family. Kids, nobody cares about the kids if you are bored. Find your own way to survive next 6 hours and everybody are happy.
Yeah, you're
Right
eating,
now,
you're taking shots and shots of vodka. Someone's already drunk. Someone's yelling at another person. Someone's cutting more cake. Someone's,
yes.
here's a kid, this kid is now underneath the table and it's chaotic and it's crazy. And you walk out of there, your emotional cup is full and you're
Yes.
tired and ready to go to sleep.
And you don't even feel that you need to, during the winter time, you need to wait 30 minutes for the delayed bus. Yes. You are just happy with the
Yeah,
family
had a
and
great time.
that's you are yes, that was a completely different way of emotional booster that we don't have it today because today, despite the technology, we even forget to send a WhatsApp message on someone's birthday.
That's because if the calendar doesn't remind you, you don't know. Because we
Yes,
have become a slave to no longer using our memories. We have become a slave to having something remind us, tell us. I mean, even as parents, right? I really hate this trend in the United States, and I'm starting to see it more and more, especially when I go back home to Poland, with the iPad, the phone being the
mm,
babysitter at the table with children. I mean, we grew up, somebody was holding the one baby, the other person was on the couch changing the other baby.
that's
You
so
know, the
true.
older kid was taking the other kids. No one cared. And guess what? Those kids sat down at 2 years old, feeding themselves the rosu every Sunday, right?
Yes,
And
that's so
no one
true.
had a problem. And then this uncle took this one, and the next uncle took the other one, and the auntie did this. And there was no, there was no, shh, be quiet, sit there,
Mm,
right? And that's all we've done. And I blame our generation for for making these kids so
or
antisocial.
allowing even for that.
Well, it's not even allowing it. We're lazy. We're lazy because it takes more effort to sit your child down at a
Mm,
table,
that's so
teach them
true.
how to use a spoon, not a little baby, plastic one,
Yes.
but a real spoon. Because I mean, who the hell had children cups and bowls and you didn't have that. You had to teach your child how to use a fork so they don't stab
Mhm.
themselves in the eye, right? And then, everyone would pay attention to the kid, making sure they're not stabbing their eyeball out. And at 2 years old, you see the little 2-year-old feeding themselves, with the rosu or the lechiki and they were fine. Now you put these kids in a bubble with plastic forks and plastic knives and plastic cups and sippy cups and iPads, and
I
they're
think
just sitting there like zombies.
I think I had. It was a time where we were going already to Germany, and I remember from the Germany, I had some pinkish plastic service for safety. But actually, you are right. We didn't have. We had the metal one. And if only the difference was that they were giving the small fork for the dessert, this instead the big fork, yeah, so that you did not harm yourself. But definitely, we have created this kind of bubble around that we are afraid, we are scared, and more most probably will be there happening, leading to our isolation, emotional, physical, mental, spiritual isolation. I really like that concept of 4 pillars. Yes? The pain was your natural element of life, yet it has developed, as you mentioned at the beginning, the emotion of anger. How it happened.
So once again, you don't really know that you're angry if you're always angry. And I think one of the most powerful things I've ever heard in my life. So, I've tried different types of therapies in my life. They never work because I feel like I end up therapizing the therapist.
Mm,
There is one thing this one therapist said to me, and she said, you know, you've sat with your anger long enough. And she told you her name was grief. Because all of our anger, like it's kind of like when people see a child who's angry, right? Hitting things, punching walls.
mm,
5-year-olds don't walk around being angry. 5-year-olds who walk around doing those things have experienced some type of grief, some type of pain. Maybe they
mm,
lost their mother. Maybe they have been molested or touched or physically abused. And that anger, that grief, all it is really pain. We see the thing is, we call pain all of these sub conversations, but it boils down to the same concept. Because what pain really is something is out of balance.
mm,
So in the physical body, my knees hurt. Well, it's not that your knees hurt, is that your knees are out of balance. We put you in balance, there is no more pain. In the mental and the emotional, I'm angry. Okay, well, why are you angry? Then you realize you're not really angry. You're in pain. You're out of balance. Maybe something has happened to you that you can't process, you can't deal with, you can't make peace with. And certain things you can't make peace with, and that's okay too. There's not a right or wrong way to get out of pain. I think we make things way more complicated. And we try to make them way more complex than what they need to be. It's the same thing. I literally had this conversation with a client today about sugar. And they were like, yeah, I know sugar is so bad for me, da 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 da. Right? Okay. Well, what is diabetes?
Cheers to the
Sugar in the
tea
blood.
with the 2 spoons of sugar.
Na zdrowie. Um, but right, sugar in the blood is diabetes. Sugar in the eye is glaucoma. So wait a minute. Is diabetes and glaucoma a difference? Or is it just because it's sugar? So we created all these different names for all these different issues, but the issue is sugar. Fix the sugar, you don't have the diabetes and you don't have the glaucoma.
It just
We
reminded me, did you watch Polish movie Botox?
No, because I don't watch TV.
Okay. So yeah. There was a time I don't know actually. I think it was on Netflix. I don't have TV. And for some time I had a subscription for the Netflix. And there was Botox, Polish movie. Some will criticize that it's the low profile movie. But I believe every movie has few messages to transfer. And it actually showed a wonderful, it's not so wonderful at all, but it makes you thinking about what you just said. The medical environment will create various diseases to produce a medicament, and no one is questioning that.
No,
We
because
are
how could
just
you question?
following like the sheep, you know?
But, but once again, this brings me back to the point of how do you know what you don't know,
Yeah.
right? How do you know what you don't know? We are not being taught in schools so many things that are actually important. I mean, how many years did you spend learning algebra?
That's so true.
When the hell have you used algebra? But they didn't teach you how the body functions. They didn't teach you. Most people don't even know where the organs in their body are.
Mm.
Most people do not know how the skeletal system works, how the lymph nodes work, right? They don't know that all of their feet are literally every part of your foot is connected to every organ in your body. People don't know that if you have pimples on your face, that's indicating a specific organ is having a problem inside. Your body is constantly sharing information with you, but it doesn't speak English, Polish, right? It speaks body.
The
And
inner language.
yeah, we've never learned it.
It's also, I think it's in all levels. Look, we are talking about um, mental health. We are not allowed to much talk about our emotions. Don't cry, be strong, right? Till today we say, men don't cry. We are diminishing men to have any emotions. We are accepting them when they are angry because we have somehow associated with them as their natural emotion. But they cannot be soft. They cannot be too much kind because they are immediately labeled, don't be weak, prick. Yes. Woman, we are also seeing this huge transformation in the messaging. You need to be strong, you need to be independent, you need to be, and the pressure is there so much. It's another, I believe, factor that is disconnecting us because there is so much noise around. How can we hear ourselves? How can we see ourselves in that noise, especially that they push you from all directions. Can you hurry up? Can you hurry up? Another very trivial thing that popped up in my head. Recently, I was listening some podcasts and it hits me. Today trend. Look at all women are showing up on the social media. They look almost the same way.
Mhm.
The physical trend. The same eyebrow shape, the same Botox injections to have the same thing. And like, oh, indeed, they are also looking in the same way. And you shared with us that you went to South Korea. You went for various sessions, and one of them was in Polish, banki, which was, I think, till today, the best way how to heal yourself. And it was wonderful because every grandma, every old neighbor lady knew how to do it.
Oh, yes.
uh, was it your starting point to see yourself, to hear yourself?
I think when I came out of the hospital and I found out I was on all this medicine that I didn't consent to, I got angry. I was pissed off.
Hmm.
And I have always had very much like this warrior mentality because I have been a child of so much trauma that I decided as a teenager I wasn't going to be a victim ever again in my life. So I then started to wear my Xena warrior princess, outfit. And now I'm a survivor. I'm a warrior.
Hmm.
And that mentality of like, no one is going to mess with me, right? That is kind of what catapulted me to say, there has to be something different. There has to be something better because I can't keep living this way. I mean, imagine going every day for years with no sleep. I mean, the amount of mental stuff that starts to cause working as many hours as I'm working as a police officer. We already work crazy hours. And now granted, I can work several days without good sleep. But on start 4 or 5 nights in, I start to mentally and emotionally feel it now. I know I'm mentally and emotionally feeling it now because I'm connected now. So for me, that starting point really came from a place of I'm angry and I want something different. I'm not accepting this as my reality.
Right. We don't think, we disconnect with ourselves. We follow the trends, we follow the authority, and the family also are boosting that. We should follow. We sometimes feel in us something is wrong, but then from the family said, no, 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 who are you? Are you a doctor? You are not a doctor. You need to listen. And they like your waking up, your reborn moment. No one else will mess up with me. It's like the validation, but you gave yourself first that right. How did you feel with that moment of waking up, the validation? I am now the owner of my life.
I think my biggest validation came from when I was in Korea and the doctor acknowledged I was in pain.
Mm,
Never, my mom didn't even, I don't think, believed me, right? She didn't get it. She was trusting the doctors. But I will never forget taking that protocol at 35 and deflaming the body and I was in Poland actually at the time. I was there for about 6 weeks and I got super sick, but I felt amazing. Like I mentally and emotionally felt amazing. And I mean, the sickness came and went in 24 hours. But man, I'm so connected. People see me, right? I'm 40. I've never had Botox. This is my natural hair color. I have almost no makeup on, just a little lip gloss, little
mm,
mascara. I I look better now at 40. I feel better now at 40. I could go to the gym every day Not that I do, because my schedule doesn't always allow it. I go whenever I can, right? And I'm not hurting for 3 days. After we're done filming, I'm going to
Mm.
shower, crawl in my bed, and I'm going to sleep until I wake up. I'm not going to wake up every 30, 40 minutes because I'm locking up. I feel in complete control of this vehicle because I truly believe that we are nothing but spirits and souls. We're energy. And this is just a vehicle. This body is just a vehicle. And just how the vehicle, the car that you drive needs an oil change, needs new tires, needs to get washed. You have to do that with your body too, right?
Mm.
But the way you know that your car needs oil is it tells you it has a check engine light, right? And you know you need a new tire or it's flat because it tells you the indicator. Well, your body sends you indicators all day long. You just don't believe it. I think there's like a disbelief that it's that simple. You know, I've met so many people within the life coaching, wellness, holistic world, and great people, so full of knowledge. I think they make it way too complicated. Way
Mm.
too complicated. I am a big KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. I love to keep things simple. I like to keep them doable.
Mm.
In order to reconnect with your body, you actually have to sit still and listen to it. It's constantly communicating, and then you can level on the spiritual end, right? Let's say, how do you know that you're not in the best neighborhood? Is it because it's dark? Well, a lot of places are dark that don't have
Mm.
light. But how do you know you are not feeling safe? You feel it, right? There's this like, ooh, something's not right here.
We feel
Think
it,
of
but
think
isn't it that sometimes certain feelings are also shaped by beliefs that has been created in us by
I
others?
so I agree with that. So I'll give you a better example. We are the last generation of growing up without cell phones, right?
Mm. That's
We were
true.
older when we saw cell phones. So, how did you know when we had landlines who was calling you on the phone? How many times did before you picked up the phone, you had a feeling and you knew who it was on the phone?
I don't think I was thinking. I just,
I
I
always
only
knew.
remember that I had to, yeah, this hello. And yeah, I didn't think who's calling.
Yeah,
I
see,
mean,
and for
usually it was more like, the standard people are calling. Auntie one, auntie two, grandma two. And, and when someone else has called, sometimes you feel the panic. It's like, who's this? Yes, I don't know the person. But I didn't really think that, oh, who's calling?
yeah, see, so I've always had that ability to kind of know.
Oh.
And I didn't realize that I am so intuitive because I
Mm.
spent so many years just in pain. And that's kind of the interesting that thing that happened for me is once my body, my mental and my emotional weren't in pain and they were in
Mm.
homeostasis, this crazy world of spirituality opened up for me. Like, for example, I never knew I was an empath. This is why when I go places, I'm like, don't talk to me. I don't want to be a friend because I don't want to feel everyone's energies because most people are not responsible for the energy that they push out, right?
That's
And
true.
or grab from you. So, but now I can control it. I could be around people who are drainers. And I'm not saying these people are doing it intentionally, right?
Mm.
A lot of people are doing it unknowingly, but I can control that. I could also release my energy when I'm working with somebody and give them more love or more support, or I can feed them without draining myself. And that sounds probably really silly and crazy to a lot of people because trust me, if you would have told me this like 10 years ago, I would have thought you were a nut job, you know? But
Mm.
that's the path my life has taken. And that was a big reason as to why I started my company is not because I was looking to be an entrepreneur. I was looking to literally teach people how to heal themselves. Like, I'm not a healer. Like, there's no magic
You
wand
are
or
not
special
znachor?
herbs, you know?
Do you know Polish movie znachor?
Yeah, that one I know.
It's beautiful. Recently, I was at my mom and they put it in TV. And I said, I need to go home, but I really want to watch that movie. For many years, I didn't watch. It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, that's that. How old is that movie now?
I don't know. I think it was even made before I was born, and I am elder than you. But I want
It's
to go
that
back
old?
once again.
It's really that old?
I don't know. Let
I,
me
I
check.
remember watching, I remember watching it as a kid.
We were watching Domowe Przedszkole.
A ja oglądałam Cztery Pancerne.
I have a full
Yes.
set of the movies. My son said, "No, no, no, come, come, baby, you need to watch that." So, yeah, I have that too. Why they are not showing where they're, I think, making the second? Yeah, Forgotten Love they made. But, oh no, I was 2 years old. You were not there yet. I was 2 years old, 1982. Yeah?
I was almost there.
You were shaping. You were
I was
shaping.
shaping. I was shaping in the universe somewhere.
Um, do you think from the time where you are standing right now, it's just because also to share this kind of hope, belief, and maybe not a promise, but showing the way how people can find their own way in whatever pain they may live. We were talking about family. You said your mother was believing the authorities, so you were not hurt. People didn't really believe you, what you are saying. How do you feel? And many of us will, again, believe we are alone with our pain, with whatever happening. Some of them will not have a power to empower themselves, to find this, strength. I will do it on my own. Because sometimes the surrounding environment doesn't allow. How you will advise people to create the bridge between you and surrounding you people who do not necessarily validate you, see you, understand you.
So for me, this that statement is multi-leveled. Number one, how can you be empowered if you don't think you have power? So you fundamentally need to understand you have power. You may have been programmed to think you don't. You may have been thought you need to rely on everybody else, and maybe other people are brighter, faster, smarter, stronger, but you have all the power. The thing is, people don't believe they have the power. So when people talk about empowering others, you cannot empower someone that doesn't have the cup to pour in the power. Does that make sense? The
Yes.
other thing is, I'm because I now live life through the spiritual level, right? I see things on different levels now than I used to. I strongly believe all the people around you, especially the negative ones, the naysayers, are there specifically to challenge you to harness and grow your power to be like, you know what I mean? And keep
Mm.
going. My mother, when I started my company, literally said to me, Veronica, what a stupid idea. Why are you wasting your money? Da 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 da. Like, what are you doing? You will work all these hours. Oh my God, now you're trying to be. She was one of the most negative people about it. Even
I
today,
don't
we've
like
talked
that.
about this, right? How many people in our lives we've had these conversations before, your friends, your family. How many other people support your videos? How many other
Mm.
people even like your Instagram post? Not very many. But you know what? That's okay because now I've been doing my company for 4 years now. It's now that my mom told me for the first time she's proud of me. She actually watches my videos now. Took 4 years, but we made it there. And the thing is, I'm not mad at her. I'm not upset at her for
Mm,
having those negative thoughts because, she's your mom. She's worried about you, right, moms? Right? Worried about you. Like it comes from always this panic and anxiety, right? So to me, when you meet people that aren't supporting you, that means you're just meant to take the journey alone. Because the thing is, we're all connected. I truly believe we're all connected and we're all here to reconnect with each other as a collective whole. But this work can only be done by you. Like it's even with my clients, for example, I will not just work with any client. I'm very selective with who I will work with for the simple fact that I cannot pour into someone who's not ready to receive. So don't waste my time. I don't want your money. I'm not looking to become a millionaire doing what I do. Do I think I'll get there? Absolutely. Because I truly believe if you build it, they will come. But for me, I truly want people to get better, faster, stronger, smarter because they already have all of that within them. But that journey needs to be on for you. It's the same thing when I work with my clients, I tell them all the time, I'm your bridge. I'm going to help you connect the dots, but only you can walk over it. But the thing is, you know, and I know you've gone through so many things. We've had multiple conversations. I've gone through my journeys, my battles, right? And I mean, we can sit here and talk for hours about all the things we went through, but unlike a lot of people, I'm grateful for the things I went through. I'm grateful that I survived those things
mm,
and I became better for it.
mm.
I didn't just survive it and I went back. I survived it and I leveled up. And it's just for me holding this standard of wanting every day to be bigger
Right.
and better and stronger and growing. I can't see myself plateauing, and just being like for example, I can't to me, I don't accept that this is the best I'm going to be at 40. I just
Mm,
don't accept that because ever since 35, my life is so amazing. I am so unbelievably blessed. I am so grateful. And that is coming from someone who didn't think they'd see 40. I turned 40 in October. I didn't think I'd see 40. I didn't think I'd be here to see 40. I had no plans
Are you by
for
any
what
chance a
40
Scorpio?
looks. Mhm. 30
Yay!
października. O, twoje?
12th of November.
Oh, that's why. This makes sense now.
The power of woman, Polish woman, and scorpions. That's making a huge, huge thing.
Oh,
And
yeah. We should rename the whole show.
that's correct. And it's really visible. The confidence from you is just glowing out, and it got me actually somehow jealous, but in a healthy way, when you said that you are sitting here very happy. You feel yourself looking beautiful. You don't use the makeup and you feel so good with yourself. While me, um, I'm having concerns. Oh my God, should I go without makeup? How I will look? I will not look good. I don't want people see me to see my imperfection, and I will not judge myself for that. But in a positive way, I really felt jealous. Like, oh my God, okay, that's another power I need to develop in myself. Just to love myself the way how I am without, that extra care with the makeup thing. Because
So
it's
it's
coming
funny that
from
you
the
say
inner.
that.
Hmm?
It's funny you say that because a lot of women tell me the same thing. And I'll explain to you why I don't really wear makeup. Number one, I don't have the time for it. Right? I get annoyed having to take off the mascara because I'm annoyed at the fact that I have to take this crap off.
Mm,
Number two, that's not my priority is to not look attractive. Right? I'm literally every day with men in the field. I'm not trying to look pretty for anyone. I'm trying to make sure that they're watching my back, not my ass, right? That they're not checking me out. They're not
mm,
trying to hit on me. The other thing component on that is I have been told I'm fat and ugly basically my whole life. So psychologically, I've never been like, oh my God, you're such a pretty lalka or a doll, or, oh my God,
mm,
my brother was always the handsome one, the good looking one. I was always the smart one. Oh, she's so smart. So I never grew up, and it's so funny because I mean, it's very kind when people say to me, "Oh, you're so pretty" or whatever. That's thank you. It doesn't still reach me in here, and I'm okay with that because this is just a body. I want you to
mm,
see me for here. I want you to feel my energy, and I don't want you to be masked or distracted by anything else. Like I don't have a perfect body, you know? Everyone has imperfections, but I am so grateful that at my body's functioning. I've been told that I was going to be in a wheelchair.
mm,
So I'm just glad that I can go to the gym and I can sweat and I can go upstairs. So my bar of expectations for my physical is not to be attractive. It's not to look like Kim Kardashian. It's not to be the prettiest girl in the room so it's to literally be able to function. And I think maybe that's the difference because I'm just looking at it from a survival standpoint instead of, this I want to be beautiful. My mom also was a
mm.
tomboy growing up. So she didn't have me wearing makeup at 5 years old, the way I see like my nieces, for example, right? Their
Oh,
mom's
yes,
been putting
today it's
makeup and
not
lip gloss
really
and
great thing.
right, all of that stuff. And like I remember my niece saying she's not pretty if she doesn't have makeup on at, 5 years old. That's crazy to me. But
Yes.
also you have to remember we're a different generation because we grew up with magazines, right? And seeing all these models and what did those magazines tell us? You're not skinny enough, you're not wearing the right color. This is the color your hair should be, this is the color your lipstick should be. It told us everything what was wrong with us, right?
Mm,
This younger generation of women, however, can't escape the artificial beauty of society.
true. Yes.
Everything is artificial. Everything is enhanced. How many people take selfies and then have to filter them and AI them,
Oh,
right?
yes. Mm.
All the time. How many
There's,
people care about the angles and all of this other stuff? And so, obviously, as a woman, and I think a man too, you want to be clean, right? You want to smell nice. You want to be presentable. But
smart,
I'm not going
smart
to
with your tongue.
yeah, I'm not gonna put like a pound of makeup on my face because this is my face. This is what I was born with. Take it or leave it.
I like it, and especially that here, indeed, we are more focused on the physical appearance and having the validation based on the physical outcome rather than what we are speaking out. What kind of lesson? Because this episode was somehow around the pain, but I believe we really covered a wonderful pieces of us living in various dimensions around the pain, how it has an impact on us, and how to go through it. What will be the lesson learned you wish to share with everyone that you are bringing out from your own experience?
My biggest thing when it comes to pain is nothing happened to you, it happened for you. So find the lesson in it.
Oh, that's the sharp one. the Polish woman said. Can you elaborate on that a bit more?
Of course. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh my God, I'm in pain. Woe is me. Oh my God, I'm angry. Woe is me.
Mhm.
Great. It happened to you for a reason, right? Find the lesson, find the silver lining, some people call it. Find the reason why those things are happening to you. I'll give you a prime example. This happened to my neighbor. She's driving into the garage. The door of the garage falls on her car, and it cracks the top of her car. She already had her window though cracked from a situation that happened a few weeks prior. She's so upset. She's so angry about management, blah, 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 blah. I said to her, but now it's inconvenient, but now you're getting a new windshield that you needed. Find the lesson, find the blessing in the situation,
Mm.
right? If you start to walk through life like this, I'm here, I'm ready. Give me what you got. And then you catch it, you absorb it, you learn from it, you get better. So find the lesson, find the blessing in everything that you do, because life does not happen to you. It happens for you to get to the place you're meant to be.
And I usually say, you are the author of your own life. And taking the accountability for everything, it's in our hand. We can, like you say, we can keep sitting and complaining. He's bad, she's not okay, this is not enough, he's not enough, my child is not enough, why it's so stupid, why others are so smarter. But it's these kind of behaviors, I believe, are very unhealthy, selfish, driven attitudes, and they are also representing that we are having a gaps in us when we are spelling that out. So I like that. The find a blessing wherever you are and use that blessing. How you can use, not to miss it. Especially, I watched last weekend movie 13 discussions around about one thing. Wonderful movie. I watched that on my phone. And there was a scene, irreversible, that hit me. The time is irreversible. The energy, the power, everything, your work, your dream, your vision is in your hands. The time is the only one thing that is irreversible. Dear audience, thank you very much for being here with us. And how is your life around the pain? What is your experience with pain? Your own pain, or maybe someone you know is living in the pain, with the pain. Emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. I really like that, this connection. It inspired me. So this episode was about the pain from various dimensions. And we do hope, especially the wisdom of Nika, will help you to find a way to make yourself free from any pain you are experiencing in your life, because your life is about to be free and happy. Thank you, Nika, and see you in next episode.
See you next one.